Hey, this is Samantha here from RecipeThis.com and the voice behind the popular Kitchen Gadgets podcast, Magic with Gadgets. Today I'm here to show you not only how to cook a gammon in the air fryer, but how to cook a gammon dinner. Before we share this amazing recipe with you, we recommend that you head over to RecipeThis.com. At the top of the site is a search bar, and you can search for any of our recipes that are featured on our YouTube channel. So this makes it really easy. So if you see one of our videos and you want step-by-step photos or a free printable recipe card, then that search box is amazing. And then if you scroll down below that, you'll be able to see our categories. And what you can do is, let's say you've got an Instant Pot, you can click on the link just for Instant Pot recipes. The same for the air fryer, slow cooker, soup maker, Thermomix, or whichever recipe you've got. And best of all, I highly recommend you enter your email address and sign up for our weekly newsletter. In our weekly newsletter, we feature all our latest recipes, as well as tips, tricks, popular previous recipes, and so much more. And we just really would like it if you join. And then when you do join, you can reply to any of our newsletters and you'll get direct email response from me or my husband Dominic, and it's just brilliant. You can also look through the archives of our entire site. So let's say you're looking for Christmas ideas, then you can look at December of the previous year or the year before that for some great ideas, search through our categories and do so much more. We've got 1,400 plus kitchen gadget recipes on Recipe This, and I just cannot wait to see you over there and welcome you to the Recipe This family. We will be doing the gammon, of course, and we recommend going for a smaller one because then you can fit some veggies and some roast potatoes around the gammon, and it's just brilliant for that. This one's a 1.26 kilos, so we'll probably have to adjust and add a bit of extra cook time to the end depending on what your size is compared to ours. If you just want to aim for around the 1 kilo to 1.2 kilo size, then that is absolutely perfect. And other ingredients we're using, I've got them all ready so that I can prepare things together. It keeps me a bit more organised. So we've got the gammon that we've already talked about, and then because I like to save time and make things even easier, we're using baby carrots, we're using baby potatoes, and we're also using parsnips and swede, or if you're living in the US, you will call one of these babies a rutabaga. And then also we need some extra virgin olive oil. Obviously I'm not using a whole bottle. And then some garlic puree and some mustard. This is brilliant for putting on the actual gammon. And as well as that, we've got some mixed herbs, oregano, thyme and parsley. If you note, there's no salt and pepper, and that's because there's so much salt naturally on a gammon, you really don't need any. So that's why there isn't any salt and pepper in this recipe. And we also recommend that you give the gammon a head start, and you start cooking that first, and then whilst it's cooking, you prep your potatoes and your carrots and your parsnips and your swede, and then it can all cook together in the air fryer. So clear away your vegetables because we're not using them right now, and on your chopping board have your gammon joint, some olive oil, a little ramekin or whatever you've got available for mixing things, and your garlic puree. And then what you want to do is you want to open up your gammon first. And keep the netting on because it just holds it in place nicely for you. And then it's normally the flesh side that you want to add the extra seasoning to. What I recommend you do is you score the gammon, that way you can get some extra flavouring into it, and then you've not just got flavouring on the sides. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a few little lines so that you can drip some extra seasonings inside of it. And then you want a teaspoon so that you can mix your seasonings together. So about a tablespoon or two of olive oil. Then add in some mustard. You can add as much or as little mustard as you want, and then add in some garlic. And then just give it a quick stir. And then you want a paste similar to this that you can just add on top of your gammon. So what I recommend you do now is you get out your air fryer basket, because it's easier to do directly in the air fryer. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And then open your air fryer basket and then add in your gammon. I love this one, it's my cassoulet. And what's brilliant about it is it's got slightly more height on it, so it can hold my gammon. And then pour your mixture in, and then you can use the back of the spoon, or I just prefer to get my hand in there and then massage it in to your gammon. And now it's ready to be air fried. So now you want to place your gammon back in and then turn on your air fryer. You're looking for a temperature of 160 Celsius, that's 320 Fahrenheit. And we're going to start with a cook time of 20 minutes, and then we can get our vegetables prepared, and then press start. Now the air fryer is doing the gammon, it's time to prep the vegetables. So like I said, we're cutting a few corners by using some baby carrots. So they can go straight into the bowl. No worrying about those now. And the same can be said for your baby potatoes. Whoops, one flew there. Oh, are they gorgeous for little miniature potatoes? Best ones I've seen in a long time. And then you're just left with your parsnips and your swede. If you want, you could literally just do carrots and potatoes. But it's totally up to you what you're into. Can I just say now, this is a habit of mine. I just love the smell of parsnips. They just so remind me of Christmas time, and I just love them. And whenever they're in season, I'm there buying them. So that's 2 parsnips peeled, and now let's chop a swede. So I recommend first, take the end off, take the top off. So now you've lost the top and bottom. And then I find the easiest way is to just go around the edges like this, but you can also pick it up and peel it like that instead. Just totally up to you. And it also depends on how good your knife is at the time that you're using. But it can be quicker just to go around the edges like that. And then when I'm actually chopping it, I don't chop it into cubes because it just takes too long to cook it in the air fryer. So once you've peeled it, get rid of any last bits. Yep, I'm happy with that swede. And then once you've done that, what I recommend you do for chopping the swede, just chop a slice off the end and then keep going around it like that. Until it's fully chopped. It's so much easier than trying to just chop into the centre of a swede. So then once you've done that, for shapes for the air fryer, I just kind of do them at random. So they're kind of like that, because then that piece isn't too thick, so it'll air fry better. And you've also got to bear in mind that you want it to be done at a similar time to the other things that you're air frying, because you've got your potatoes and your parsnips and your carrots. then you can also do them to chip sizes as well, or like wedges. It's totally up to you. Just bearing in mind what sizes you do takes into account when the rest of the items are going to be ready. So there you go. So now in the bowl we've got the carrots, the potatoes and the swede. And now this just leaves the parsnips. Parsnips I tend to do to those kind of shapes for the air fryer. And then those little bits on the end can be done on their own. And then same again. And then finally the end bit, we'll do that bit a bit smaller. And there you have it, you've got all your veggies and everything in there. That's way too much for one round with the air fryer. So what I tend to do with these is I tend to do one batch and then the leftovers can be used towards the next meal. So if you just want to do it just for today's recipe, then I would recommend half a swede, one parsnip and half a bag of both potatoes and the carrots. And then you can season it however you want. So we've got going oregano, mixed herbs, parsnips, parsnips or parsley I mean. So I love parsnips so much, they're on the brain. And then of course your thyme, and then you can add a little bit of extra mustard. I don't normally do it if I'm just doing potatoes, but because they're going with the gammon, it just suits it perfectly. And then add in some oil. There's a big portion here, so I would recommend 1 to 2 tablespoons. And then the best bit, let's get your hands in there, shall we? And then what I've noticed, which I recommend you also check, is if your carrot's really big like that, it's going to take forever to cook. So I'm just going to put any bits of carrots to one side that are absolutely huge. You see that's the normal size. That's another huge one. I'm just going to put them to one side and then we can reduce the size of those ones. It's the problem you get when you buy things that are already packaged like this. You don't get the perfect size. So now I've mixed all those. I've got exceptionally dirty hands. Let's just reduce the size of these carrots. And then that's the rest of the carrots in there. And now you've got your wonderful bowl of potatoes and veggies. You can do your gammon dinner and then you can have the rest tomorrow with something else. So let's check on it, shall we? Wow, this is the gammon so far. So as you can see, it's got a lovely colour on it down the side there from the mustard and the oil. So now it's ready for some vegetables and some potatoes to be added. So I've already done this big bowl full, and obviously I'm not going to be using them all, but I've prepped them ahead so that I can use these for a few different recipes that I'm cooking this week in my air fryer. So, don't be shy, just go in there, grab what you can. The potatoes are exceptionally yummy when cooked in the air fryer in the skins like this, so I'm making sure I'm getting plenty of those in. And then I can see what I've got left that we can then use in some other recipes in the week. Or they can actually just be cooked on their own as well. So let me see what else I can fit in. I think that'll be my limit. So as you can see, there's absolutely loads of potatoes, carrots, parsnips and swede positioned around the gammon, and now it's just perfect for putting back on an egg. So now, once you're all full up, it's time to place it back in. And now we're going to go with a temperature of 180 Celsius, that's 360 Fahrenheit, and then a cook time of 30 minutes. And then press start, and then we'll be back in half an hour to see how it's all cooking. And we've beeped. So shall we check on our gammon dinner? Out we pop. So that's the gammon so far and how the veggies and the potatoes look. And now what I recommend you do is a fork test. Fork into the potato, you check it to make sure it's fork tender. And then you can do the same with some other veggies. I'm going with another potato that's a bit bigger. And then that's another potato, all fork tender. So how are the other veggies doing? Fork tender. Carrots. Oh, when I can grab it. And that is almost fork tender. So it's doing an absolutely brilliant job here. And that one's fork tender as well. So the carrots are a little bit off. But that's fine, because what you can do is you can do another 5 minutes with just the vegetables in there or just the meat in there. And then the gammon itself, now is a good time for turning it over. So here you have a look, that's how well the gammon is right now. So what you can do now is, as you know, it's just the carrot bits that are a bit off. So now turn it over, so it's now fat side up. And then what I want to do as well is make sure some of those carrots are towards the top, because when they're buried underneath, those take the longest. That carrot's broken because it's almost fork like. And then that's the actual gammon dinner as it is now. As you can see, I've put some of these carrot bits to the top just to help them along the way. And we're now going to do another 8 minutes at 180. Oh, that's a problem. What happens if that happens is that if that bit's too high up the top, it's going to burn. So now what we're going to do to solve this problem is we're going to move some of these bits so that the gammon is touching at the bottom a bit more, and then we're going to push it down a bit, and let's see how it goes now. Now it's not touching as much. So now back on 180 Celsius, that's 360 Fahrenheit, and another 8 minutes, and then press start. And we've beeped. Oh wow. As you can see, you've got that black bit from the bit of the top coming off, but oh, it still looks fabulous. And note that that's just the fat bit that nobody really cares about. Right, so now I'm going to do another fork test. Let's see how those carrots are doing now. Oh yeah, they're much better now. So that's how fork tender the carrots are. And let's do another one. That's almost there. So what you can do is you can put them on for a little bit longer, just as the gammon's resting. And the gammon now has done a really good cook time now. So your gammon should be good to go. And now it can actually sit on the side and rest. So, big plate. There's your gammon on a plate, and that's now ready for resting. Most of these potatoes are done now. It's just the odd bit of carrot. So what I recommend you do now is give your air fryer a good shake. And then back on again, 5 last minute. 180 Celsius, 360 Fahrenheit. And take it down to 5 minutes, and then press start. And then as the gammon's resting, the rest of the veggies and potatoes can be cooking, and then it'll be ready for serving together. So you can start off first by getting the netting off. And then you can trim off the fat, depending whether or not you like to eat it or not. And then of course, slice it up. Decent sized gammon is this, so slices are quite big, depends what size gammon you go with. You could do a 900 gram ones in there. You could probably go up to 1.4 kilos as well, depending on the size of your air fryer. And wow, there you have it. There's the gammon. Doesn't it look lovely? And let me grab a slice. You can tell that's, even though it's been allowed to rest for a little while, it's still piping hot. And it's just absolutely perfect for your next roast dinner in the air fryer. So now you've got your plates with your potatoes and your veggies. Dominic's kindly started the slicing process of the gammon. The rest of it's going to go in the fridge because that's all the slices that we actually want. And now let's try the gammon, shall we? Gammon in the air fryer is absolutely delicious. So if you want to cook some gammon in the air fryer, head over to recipethis.com and search gammon. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the Recipe This family. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook and Pinterest. We also have a weekly newsletter at recipethis.com/newsletter, where we share with you our latest kitchen gadget recipes, what we're cooking in the Milner kitchen, and so much more. As well as this, we recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then whenever we have a new video, you will be the first to know. And if you want to know about all our future videos, then I recommend you hit the bell for instant notifications. But even better, we now have a podcast. It's called Magic with Gadgets. Simply search Magic with Gadgets on your favourite podcast player and you'll find us there.